Boom goes the dynamite. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you live on 103.9 WYAB across the FM dial, as well as streaming and stunning HD on the Save JXN, Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. That's right, streaming. And if you guys have a keen eye, you may notice my shirt. It is one of my favorites. It is a golf shirt from Reunion Country Club. And it's got hundreds, if not thousands, of tiny little pineapples all over it. I don't know why a golf country club would sell a shirt with a bunch of pineapples all over it. If anybody out there knows the joke, let me know. But it's a good-looking shirt, and it gets a lot of attention everywhere I wear it. But I'm not in on the joke. What goes on at Reunion where pineapples are like a thing? I love pineapples. I have one hanging upside down at my front door. I get a lot of weird people knocking on that, too. I just don't get it. Wink, wink. Kidding. I do not have a pineapple upside down at my door. And I do understand exactly what the pineapples mean. And I'm definitely loving the joke. And I definitely love that Reunion is in on it. Well, I hope it's a joke. I hope it's a joke, and it's really not, what the internet says it is. But all kidding aside, I do love this shirt, and it does get a lot of attention. Very comfortable shirt. I need a size smaller. I've lost a lot of weight since I bought this shirt, so it's a little big on your boy, but comfortable nonetheless. What is it, like a Peter Millar or something like that? Very good shirt here. So, good morning out there to everybody. The text already coming in. Oh, man. Tim says on the Guns and Gear text line, Tim says, you had me worried there for a minute. Roy on Facebook says, Clay, pineapples are just a swinging. Yes. Good times. I'm sure, I stumbled across, I don't know what in the blue Hades algorithm I ended up on Instagram the other day, but I hit a button at the bottom, or I swiped left. I did something that took me to another timeline, another news feed on Instagram. And the first thing that was there was a woman who had attended a swingers party. And she flew in. It was her day in the life of a swinger. It started out with a flat tire, and she probably should have took that as a sign. And she ended up at a house, and she ended up back at a hotel with a couple black guys, and they were talking about how many people they had swung with, and just all this just really weird Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil type stuff. What's that movie with Tom Cruise and them where they wear the little face mask and they go to all these weird, New World Order type parties? Anyway, it was very strange. And so I was like, well, I'm going to read the comments while I'm here. And everybody said the exact same thing. Why in the hell am I seeing this? And it is not because I run around and look at swinger content. There's no reason that this should be forced into my timeline for any means, any reason, any why, anything. Like some of those Temu ads that I get with adult fetish toys. I'm like, bro, legitimately, if I was to shop for anything like that, I would just go to one of the locally owned stores to do so, which I don't. I'm old-fashioned. But neither here nor there. The strange things they will force into your timeline. But what I did find interesting is all the women at these things, very mid at best, and a bunch of black guys getting their snow bunnies. I don't know. Strange event for sure. But hey, you know what? That's fine on the internet. Let them promote that hedonistic lifestyle. But you post a picture of a couple bullets on sale at Guns and Gear, and that's a ban for you, buddy. You're demonetized. Yeah, we can't have that on there. We can't have that on there. Something that's in the Constitution, one of the very pillars that this country is built on, our right to bear arms. You can't post that on there. But yes, this lifestyle that will absolutely punch your ticket straight to hell. And look, I ain't judging. We all do things. We all sin. But we understand the implications of that sin. So, I don't know. It was just weird. I'm not surprised. I'm not the least bit surprised that I saw it. I just find it strange. Like, your algorithm is supposed to be stuff that you're interested in. That's how they tell you this. Like, this is stuff you're interested in. And I don't know. They force some weird things into the algorithm. Thank you, Roy. Eyes Wide Shut was the name of that Tom Cruise movie I was thinking of. Eyes Wide Shut seems like a big Diddy party to me. Now maybe that's why it got put into my news feed, because I have been reading some about the Diddy trial and these quote unquote, and I hope you don't have kids in the car. If you do, you got some explaining to do. We'll give you 5 seconds here. Probably should have already given you 5 seconds at the top of this, but I didn't really plan on going down this rabbit hole. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to change the channel if you got kids in the car. Freak-offs. These freak-off parties they've been talking about in the Diddy trial. Apparently, Diddy paid a male escort to urinate in Sierra's mouth. Now, I saw that, and I just thought to myself, just imagine, I don't know, my mind goes to the weirdest places. All these people are going to hell, by the way. But my mind goes to the weirdest places. I've sat at a bar. I've spent a lot of time sitting at bars, working behind bars, in bars. I could just tell you a story after story, but most of them just aren't radio friendly, or I don't think they're appropriate to tell, frankly, in my mid-40s about stuff in my 20s I'm just not proud of. I don't want my family to be any more ashamed of me than they are. So there's a lot of stories I just keep to myself. Maybe a good long road trip with the boys sometime. Maybe we could tell a couple like that, as long as your phones are off and you ain't wearing those Ray-Ban glasses that record everything. But I just visioned sitting at a bar after I read that story, and, you get a lot of transient people who come through, and they always get these crazy stories, and you never know if they're lies or whatever. People who live these just, I don't want to say fantastic lives, but these hood-tastic, crazy lives, and they always get these wild stories. And, I think about half of it's believable, half of it's absolute nonsense. But imagine some guy sitting down beside you, and, you just start small talk. Maybe you're sitting to somebody on a plane, next to somebody on a plane. And somebody tells you, you're like, hey, man, just make a small talk. Well, really, what you got going on? What you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Somehow the conversation inevitably leads to, yeah, man, so what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a male escort. Oh, really, man? So straight, gay for pay. I mean, what it is, what it ain't. Let me tell you, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen would be the initial first thing that come to my mind. What's the craziest story you got from that? Well, Puff Daddy paid me to let him bust them cheeks and pee in Sierra's mouth. Oh, okay. I believe in ancient aliens, and that's a line too far for me. Like, no. Come on. I mean, I believe aliens built the pyramids, that they're lined up as something to communicate with our home planet in space, and that's how we got here. I believe some crazy stuff. However, one of those crazy things I do not believe is that we faked the moon landing. We are from another planet. We can dang sure go to the moon at any given time. We didn't fake the moon landing, and the earth is not flat. If you think the earth is flat, I automatically assume you think we faked the moon landing, and if you think we faked the moon landing, I automatically assume that you think the earth is flat. Anyway, I would have taken that, and I would have put it right over here in the check, please. I'm not going to sit beside somebody that doesn't live in this reality category. But that came out in court over the last day or so that P. Diddy, Puffy, he'll always be Puff Daddy to me. Sean Diddy Combs, the diddler. that he paid a male prostitute to urinate in his girlfriend's mouth. And she did it. She allowed it. But, then like the next inevitable thing here, right, is, do you ever kiss her again? Hell to the no. Hell to the no. These people are sick. Sick people. Now, did Diddy do all the things they're claiming? I don't know. I mean, I think he was a burned government asset. There's a lot of allegedly rumors out there, that he may have killed his wife, and the government let him get away with it. And in turn of that, he became an asset. And what he does by becoming an asset is he gets compromising footage of Hollywood and famous people so they can control them. I mean, do you really think that it's just coincidental that every high-profile celebrity just automatically hated Donald Trump? I mean, y'all think that was just a coincidence? Hell no. Because they got video of them out there, especially on the men's side, getting them cheeks clapped by another man. And they don't necessarily advertise themselves as being part of the LGBTQ LMNOPs, the rainbow supremacy. Hate to break the news to a lot of you thugs out there. Well, this shouldn't be of no surprise to y'all. The hood gay as hell. But, I mean, it's just over the last 15 years, how the hood went from the most homophobic place that you could possibly go to you got gay gangbangers. And like straight gangbangers are scared of them. And it's just acceptable. They got gangbangers, got gay gangs. Wild times. Anyway, my point being, should come as no surprise that some of these tough guys, some of your favorite rappers, been having them cheeks clapped so they can be famous. And I don't mean just your openly gay guys. I mean, I never thought Puffy was gay. I mean, to name Puffy, hindsight's 2020, there were signs. But I still never really thought the dude was gay. And I don't buy these, we just parties, just freaking off, man. It is what it is in these parties. Man, I've been to a bunch of parties. And that was never like one of the things that just popped off. I've seen some things. That ain't one of the things. Let's take a break. When we come back, I'm casting a spell, a curse. I need a billy goat and a witch. I'm casting a curse on the Mississippi Mud Monsters to never win another game. I'm going to tell you why if you haven't been following it on Facebook for the last 12 hours or so. The disrespect. Oh, the disrespect. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show, here live on WYAB, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, as well as the TuneIn app and Alexa. Just search WYAB or go to WYAB.com, hit listen live or listen now. Sorry, I'm getting over a sinus infection. And you'll go to that. People ask us all the time about not having an app. Apps are expensive, a lot of upkeep. If you just go to your browser on your phone, your native browser to whatever your phone is, Android is Chrome, Apple is Safari. And if you'll just, however you do it, you have the little arrow on the bottom, save to home screen, and that's going to save the player to the home screen. All you got to do is tap it, and you're going to drop in live on whatever we got going on here on the show. Now, it doesn't allow you to rewind, fast forward. There's no archives, anything like that. That's what our podcasts are for. You can go find all those. Most of you guys have them. Some do, some don't. Kim Wade's, I'm responsible for it. It's something I do to give my thanks back to Kim for getting me into this and helping stick his neck out on the line for me. So if y'all don't like me, you can blame it on Kim. But you can find Kim Wade's podcast at kimwadeshow.com. Or you can search. It's not on Apple. I'm working on it. We had the wrong size image, and we're not on Apple Podcast with it. But in the meantime, it's on Spotify and all these other places. Just search Kim Wade Show. But if you want to listen on Apple, go to my podcast, Clay Edwards Show. And over the last I'm updating it daily there. It updates at noon. It runs a day behind. It updates at noon the following day. Because I don't get here till the morning, so I can't do it the day of because his show ends at 6. I'm not in Florida. It's on the computer. Anyhow, but trying to do my part to spread Kim's message as far as wide as we can. Good dude. Got a lot to say, and we want to make sure that everybody hears it. I think his message is beyond bigger than Jackson, just like mine at times. And so we try to make sure anybody that can hear it, wants to hear it, has the ability to hear it. So KimWadeShow.com or go to Clay Edwards Show wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can find it there too. Started doing that yesterday. The next episode will drop today at noon, which will be yesterday's episode. Hope that made sense. Hey, real quick. I've been getting up earlier this week. I've been working on this for about 2 weeks, trying to get up like 10 minutes earlier every morning. Instead of just saying, all right, I'm only going in an hour. I'm just going to suddenly start waking up an hour and a half earlier. That wasn't going to happen. So I've been waking up in 10, 15-minute increments earlier every morning. I've gotten my way to 4:30, and that's going to be it. I don't foresee getting up any earlier than 4:30 unless I go to bed really, really early like I did night before last at 7:30. But with that said, it's been really nice this week having that extra hour to get here, hour and a half really, to get here, not be in a rush, look at some fresh show prep, finish up a little digital stuff, video editing, planning, whatever. I got an office here. It's a shared office, but I'm the only person usually here using it, so I'll call it my office. And man, it's made a big difference. I've also got back to listening to some more motivational, self-help, whatever you want to call it. I call it non-incendiary content, non-news and culture content, podcast, some books and whatnot. And I've stumbled across a book that I want to share with you guys that I'm just loving right now. It's Cameron Hanes, a world famous bow hunter and runner. He's got a new book out. You can find it on Audible if you want to do the audiobook. The audiobook is called Undeniable. And it's got a lot of talk in there about bow hunting, but not from the sense of like how to bow hunt, but using his bow hunting and his running and his lifting as examples of how you can become undeniable. So you can use it as the analogy for anything. And I'm going to tell you, man, between the last couple of weeks where I've done this heavy hitters entrepreneurs show and I've had some people in here that had really good stories, it's had your boy fired up. So been waking up earlier, trying to create my own luck via hard work, so to say. And man, it really paid off yesterday. Closed one of the biggest deals, if not the biggest deal in this show's history. Really excited about that. And I just got a little pep in my step. Feels good. So let's do that real quick. Let's make a big announcement here on this show. We are no longer the byfafo.com studios. That was a filler. We are now officially the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios. Technically, it's Men's Health of Mississippi and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios. We'll get into. I'm not going to take a deep dive into everything right now, but just want to welcome an expanded partnership with Men's Health of Mississippi. I want to welcome a new partnership with Women's Wellness of Mississippi. And we're going to do some big, big things and have some great offerings for Clay Edwards Show and WYAB listeners to help you guys get healthy, get your mojo back, find that fountain of youth, lose that weight that you've been trying to lose, having a hard time with, finding a little discipline. We'll be doing lots of great stuff. So really excited about that, really excited at the opportunity to be able to tell you more about their offerings beyond just testosterone and compounded semaglutide. So stay tuned. Starting next week, we'll really be taking a dive into that more often. So again, super excited and want to welcome to and thanks to Dr. Michael Walker, Scott McCullough, the whole team there at Men's Health of Mississippi and Women's Wellness of Mississippi. Welcome to the show in an even bigger way than you were already here. You guys have been out and you've supported them. Y'all, the listeners, when we ask y'all to help do stuff, we ask y'all to support these sponsors. There's reasons why. A lot of them track where their ad dollars are being spent best. And like a smart man, if you see that your ad dollars are being spent well here, you're seeing ROI on that, well, hey, why don't you give me some more of that? Let's if we spend a little more, maybe we can make a little more or a lot more. And that's exactly what they've done. I've seen advertisers that say, man, we're just going to cut it back. We're not seeing quite what we want to see, so we're going to cut it back some. You know, starving something is never the answer to the problem unless you're trying to lose weight. And in this analogy, spending less means you're going to make less. You want to spend more for people to hear more. It makes sense. Your advertising budget needs to be a very, very important part of what you do. Well, whether it's creating, air quotes in the studio, organic advertising or massive media campaigns. So really excited about that. Really excited about that. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Might as well just turn this into a quick ad read for them. Real quick. Men's Health of Mississippi. Get your complimentary testosterone screening today. Or schedule it today, should I say. Fatigue. I'm fatigued. We've been talking about fatigue all week. I wonder if it'll fix that kind of fatigue. Decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances. And I know y'all get tired of hearing me say it, but man, guys, one of the first surefire signs that your testosterone ain't where it needs to be is lack of the morning wood. I shouldn't have to tell you anymore. You know what it is. You know what it is, what it ain't. Your wife knows. Your significant other knows. That's a sure sign if you're over 35 or so, and you're not. And it's not a problem. You need to get it checked. 601-327-8550. Text my name, Clay. 601-327-8550. There, it is not like a normal doctor's office. It's like a hunting lodge up in there. It's really cool, laid back. You're gonna go in. They're gonna draw a little bit of blood, and boom, you're gone. They'll call you back. They'll tell you how your blood levels came out, your testosterone levels, your estrogen, stuff like that. And then if you agree to move, they agree that you qualify to be a patient. You'll move forward, and they'll do more in-depth blood panels and really start working on any problems you may have. I'm telling you, your health is important. And look, they don't take insurance. You don't need it with them. It's not expensive like that. I'm telling you, you can afford this. I mean, you may have to give up 5-hour energies. You may have to give up that mocha chocolate $7 drink you're buying every day. I mean, you may have to make a sacrifice if your budget's tight like that. But the rewards you're going to reap from this are going to far exceed whatever immediate, quick dopamine rush you were getting from a 5-hour energy. And I'm just picking 5-hour energy because those are the things I need to drop out of my day-to-day diet that is an absolute waste of my money. When I'm eating right and living right, and I got ketones burning instead of carbs burning for energy, I don't need any caffeine at all. I am operating at max strength when I'm burning ketones instead of carbs. So I'm kind of talking to myself here. All right, look, didn't mean to turn the whole segment into an ad read there, but it was a little motivational speech too, I hope. Start waking up early, getting some time to yourselves. Be disciplined. I'm going to play a clip real quick. Well, no, it ain't kind of closing out that last thing about a little self-help, motivation, whatever. This is about discipline. It's only 49 seconds long, but this is in the new book by Cameron Hanes. The book's called Undeniable. I'm about halfway through it. I cannot recommend this enough if you're looking just, for something positive. Maybe you need a little extra push across the finish line to get motivated, to get where you're going. Really, really good stuff here. Here we go.
There's only one way to get them, and that's to go through the fire. And that's available to anyone. The gates are open. Come on in. There's a common theme to the people that I follow on social media. Maybe it's just an algorithm controlling my life, but every person I see who is influential right now, Goggins, Jocko, and Rogan, just to mention a few, are all fit and disciplined. This prompted me to ask Chris Williamson, another person I put in this category, are there influential people who are not disciplined? Well, think about it this way, Chris answered. Do you think that the most successful people in the world became successful and then got disciplined? Or do you think that they became disciplined and then got successful?
How about that? The most successful people they know right now are also the most disciplined they know. And he named off some people I'm very familiar with. David Goggins, Jocko Willink, Joe Rogan, Chris Williamson. It's like, oh, well, that's simple. And by discipline, they're healthy, they're fit. They can control what they put in their mouths. That's the hardest thing in the world to do. It's the one thing we have the full ability to do is to control what we put in our mouths. Yeah, there should be no excuse. But we all make them. I'm in a rush. It's all that was there. It's tempting. It tastes good. It's the one thing we have full control. It's expensive to eat healthy. No, it's not. It's expensive not to eat healthy. These are all things I tell myself on a daily basis. This is like I'm not shaming y'all. I'm shaming me because I know how much better I feel when I'm clicking on all cylinders, eating right. I think I'll be real quick. I may have to play it later in the show. I don't have my ever. I've been telling y'all your boy was going to be throwing out the first pitch tonight. I went to the first game, bought me a hat, came back here, wore the hat on the stream, gave y'all a good review of them. It was an honest review. I don't take anything back. Wish I hadn't bought the hat. Neither here nor there. I was getting ready to reach out. They reached out to me a couple weeks ago and asked, hey, man, would you like to throw out the first pitch on May 15th? I didn't hesitate. I'm like, heck yeah, man. That's cool. When I first started this show, WYAB was the radio station for the Braves home games. And Kim Wade had a banner out in the outfield. And that was like one of my little goals I'd set in the back of my mind was, I don't want to knock Kim off, but I want a Clay Edwards show went out there too. Or maybe Kim and I can share a billboard. Whatever. However we got to go, I want my face out on that wall. Well, throwing out the first pitch is a nice, what's the word I'm looking for? Consolation. And then their sales department's been in touch with me about doing some, want me to come out there and broadcast live and, doing some trade outs and, this, that, and the other, trade a suite for some advertising and this, that, and the other. And, so clearly they want to be involved with the Clay Edwards show. But not involved enough to tell me that they found somebody else they wanted to throw out the first pitch tonight. And I find that out by seeing that person's Facebook page. This is nothing against her. Absolutely nothing against her. I have no problem with young Miss Hannah Lane. I love Miss Hannah Lane. She's earned everything she's gotten, and then some. She's going to be huge. I keep telling y'all. Anytime you've heard me talk about her, she came to our concert there at McBee's as a representative of Rock 93, and I told people there, enjoy her while you have her, Mississippi, because she's going to be in Nashville, and she's going to be a star in the radio business, and I stand by that. However, I should not have found out that they had gone a different direction by seeing her Facebook post the day before the event. So what I have decided to do is I Googled how to put a spell on a sports franchise for doing you dirty. And it seems like the one that seems to be the most efficient, the one that seems to have worked the best, is the Billy Goat curse that was put on the Chicago Cubs for kicking a lady in her Billy Goat. Somebody said, Clay, we just call them goats. Well, it's more fun to say Billy Goat. Kicked her and her Billy Goat out of the stadium. So with that said, I am in search for somebody that's got a little free time and a trailer. I got a truck. We'll hook it up. I need to borrow your Billy Goat. This isn't no weird internet stuff. I'll be filming it. Again, no weird internet stuff. I need to borrow your Billy Goat. I'm going to Trustmark Park. And I'm going to go to the front gates with the goat. And I'm going to cast I need a witch. for this. If anybody knows a witch that's familiar with casting spells, I have a former bartender that told me she was a witch one time. I don't know what Megan's doing now. Anyway, that was for real too, by the way. I'm going to cast a spell on them, and they're never going to win another game. And they started the losing streak off last night by just me talking about it. So I have the directions on how to do this curse. The internet's a wild place. I used AI, went to Grok. I said, Grok, how exactly do I cast a spell with a billy goat on a sports team? It had all the answers right there. Phenomenal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read those to you real quick before we go to break. I'm going to try to give you the Cliff Notes version here without reading all the details. About 6 steps here. First, you got to acquire a billy goat. 2, you have to choose your target team to put the hex on. 2, you have to craft your spell's intent. It means to decide your curse and to decide what your curse entails. Historically, C&E's, that was the woman's name who got kicked out of the Cubs game, and said they would never win another World Series. Your spell had to be specific. Mine is, i.e., never win another game. Or never win a championship. How about that? You'll trip into winning a game. And then people will say the curse didn't work. 4, you got to stage a theatrical scene. That I can do. We can stage a theatrical scene. We're going to do the billy goat at the front entrance of the stadium. I'm going to burn the hat that I bought like some sage. And I'm going to cast my spell. 5, you have to seal the spell with some symbolisms. Cianus sent a telegram to the Cubs owner, P.K. Wrigley, saying, "Who stinks now?" You could write a mock letter or post on social media declaring your curse to the team's management, including a goat emoji for flair. Alternatively, leave a small goat figurine near the stadium as a charm. I like it. We've already done the social media post declaring it. 6, you have to set a reversal condition. I'm not far enough into this yet to be ready to start talking about reversal conditions. We'll decide what the reversal condition is later. Now, somebody with the team called me last night. I didn't answer the phone. It was a little later. I was going to bed. They shot me a text. Clearly, they know how I feel about this. There won't be any trade outs. You want to do business with the Clay Edwards Show, it can be done through the WYAB sales office. Let's take a break. Come back here and get on some serious stuff. Well, it'll have to be after the top of the hour, but we're going to talk about the brawl at the Clinton restaurant and how we start taking back territory instead of giving up territory. We're going to talk about the black nurse that says she likes to kill white patients. Yeah, that's a true story. And now she has started to GoFundMe because she knows that her black folks is strong and empowered and will support her. The end is so near. The end is so near. And not the end of this show either, by the way. The end of Earth. We'll be right back. And to the Clay Edwards Show. I want to say one thing in closing about that last segment, about the whole Mud Monsters thing. I saw somebody posted under one of their posts with their score graphic about them losing last night's game. Some girl said, well, you know what? She tagged me, so I will say her name. Say her name. She tagged me. Yeah, here we go. Maggie Heath Howard says, supposedly Clay Edwards has people casting some billy goat curse because he is butt sore because he didn't get to throw the first pitch. I do not care about throwing the first pitch. It's the least of my concerns. My butt soreness comes from them not telling me that I wasn't throwing the first pitch after I announced that I was throwing the first pitch. And after I went and told everybody I was throwing the first pitch, including my friend, the mayor of Pearl, and my children and my family and my friends. So, yeah, I just felt a little, slightly disrespected, I think is a better way to put it. And, hey, I got the right to be salty, so I'm going to be salty. I'd even practiced throwing the first pitch. We'll be back with some real stuff. Bye. Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the most incendiary show on the RADIO. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards, coming back at you live for a whole nother hour this morning here on WYAB 103.9 FM. Do you think people do that in other parts of the country? We've talked about this before. Do other people replace zero with O? Does anywhere else replace numbers with letters when they're using the number? I'm the world's worst with my phone number. It's got several zeros in it. 2, I think. But I say 260. I don't do 260. I do 260 when I'm ordering some food to go, and I want to make sure they get my number right. But it's so weird. They never get my name right. This has been the most lingering weird thing. It's like, you watch Ancient Aliens and they'll show you where they find cave drawings in ancient caves from thousands of years ago on one continent, and then on another continent, theoretically, there was no way for these people to have traveled or to have known any of the same stuff. They'll find those same drawings in those caves. Aliens, of course, but without any proof of that, any stone cold proof other than that, of course, and the pyramids and everything else. Every time I call to give my to-go order somewhere, well, not every time, 9 out of 10 times, they'll be like, what's the name? Clay. And the name they repeat back to me, Dwight. Like, they don't even have any of the same letters. They don't pronunciate the same way. Nothing about Clay. I've tried it. Clay, Dwight, Clay. No rhyme or reason at all. If you can't get my name right, I can't trust you to get my order right. It never fails. You say no something, and all they heard was the something, and you get that on your food too. Anyway. The Guns and Gear text line, 769 262. I'm giving my phone number out. 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944 if you want to text in this morning. The Mazda of Jackson phone line. 601-879-0002. Would love to hear from you all this morning. What do you think about my Billy Goat curse? And more. Whatever you you want to get off your mind. Get off your chest. 601-879-0002. Mazda of Jackson phone line. Speaking of Mazda of Jackson, be sure to get out there, see them today. Test drive the new CX-90. Luxury redefined in an SUV. Gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. The inside of the things are so nice, man. Very clean, no clutter, just one nice screen up on the dash. Actually very similar to the inside of that Tesla truck. And to the, not design-wise, but just how clean and uncluttered it is. Very, very sleek. And just the smell of a new car. And hey, did you know that every new car purchased at Mazda of Jackson comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty? That's right. Check them out today, Mazda of Jackson. See what low rates they have available, what special leasing plans they have. Go for a test drive. See our buddy Grady Portera or whomever catches you over there at Mazda of Jackson. Shop them online, MazdaofJackson.com. Proud sponsors of the phone line here on the Clay Edwards Show. All right, where shall we go? So I think the first thing here is I shared a picture last night. I had a buddy of mine who witnessed this firsthand. So I feel confident that all this is true and accurate. He's a guy that's been on this show before. I'm not going to tell you his name, but it's just I trust my source. He has no reason to lie about this. He lives out in Clinton. He walks into a restaurant, Santa Fe. I posted a picture. I might as well say the name. Walks into Santa Fe. He says, man, there's old people walking out on canes and walkers trying to get out the door. He's like, up in the balcony, group of black folks screaming and hooting and hollering. Then got in a fight, and a gun gets pulled. Cops get called. Somebody goes to jail. You know, and this is what I talk about. This is the culture. It's spilling over. This is that Jackson urban culture that nobody wants to be a part of. This is that black fatigue that everybody keeps talking about. Mostly black people talking about it. Every clip I have found talking about black fatigue outside of this radio show is black people talking about black fatigue. They typically use another word. They call it in fatigue. But, you know, we're going to stick with the black here. I don't like saying black. I like saying the culture fatigue, because I think that defines it better. Because it ain't just black. It's just people that live about this culture, just this hip hop culture, this Democrat death culture. It's culture fatigue. I'm slap dang tired of it. Everybody's tired of it. Whether there's a bunch of blue hairs showing their baboon butts at a coffee shop, out in front of an abortion clinic, or wherever else, marching with their BLM shirts on, burning down black neighborhoods because, you know, love black people, let's go burn down their neighborhoods. Or it's black people up in a balcony at a restaurant, a family restaurant, fighting and pulling guns on each other while there's senior citizens around, or anybody else for that matter. People are tired of hashtag the culture. And there's not enough people that wield influence within the culture talking back about it and calling it out. All they do is sit back and get tribal the second somebody that doesn't look like them calls it out. Oh, Emmett Till. Oh, civil rights. Oh, slavery. Oh, shut the hell up. How about, oh, look in the mirror and have some accountability. Have some discipline. So, and I'm not blaming Santa Fe on this, because if they had turned them away, well, that'd been a whole nother fuss. But you know how you take this stuff over and how you fix this? It's just like when they tried to, when they came after Chick-fil-A a few years ago. All the Christian folks said, oh, hell no. Hell no. That ain't working, hoss. Not Chick-fil-A. Not God's chicken. What did they do? They protested. They created, not Chick-fil-A, America created Chick-fil-A Day. And it's dang near a national holiday now. Now, I know the good man that ran it has since passed on, and the family ain't as in the faith as he was. I mean, I think they'd open on Sundays if it was up to a lot of them. You know, I know a lot of these extreme rainbow supremacists hate the man, think he was evil, all that, because he was against gay marriage and all that stuff. Slippery slope. Like Rush Limbaugh said, slippery slope. We went from gay marriage to trans bathrooms, kids cosplaying as kitty cats, having a litter box at schools, kids under 18 having their wee-wees cut off. Slippery slope. While I may not on the surface disagree with gay marriage, I had a lot of gay friends. Had a lot of gay friends at one point anyway. Had gay friends. Slippery slope. I don't personally mind if they get married. Doesn't affect my day-to-day life. What you do in your bedroom doesn't affect me. It's what you do when you bring that stuff from your bedroom out of it that affects me. Drag queen happy hour. Drag queen story time. All age drag shows. All started with gay marriage. Slippery slope. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. You need to get out there. If you live in Clinton and you like Santa Fe, you don't need to avoid it. You need to double down. Don't surrender the space. That's how South Jackson. That's how West Jackson. That's how every other part of Jackson that's gone to hell in a handbasket went to hell in a handbasket. It's folks threw the white flag up and surrendered the space. Now, that doesn't mean telling people they can't come here. No, everybody's welcome. That means if you're going to come here, we're going to hold you to a standard to be allowed to stay here. We're not going to tolerate the culture. We're going to be Karens. We're going to be Barbecue Becky. We're going to call the cops when you don't act right. Damn your ethnicity, your sexuality, your race, your religion. It doesn't matter. We're going to start holding you accountable. You're going to start acting right in public. We're going to start demanding that when these videos come out of like the Margaritas Brawl, that Chief Joseph Wade, where you at, man? You talk a lot. Chief, you talk a lot. And this is coming from somebody that talks a lot. But I just don't see the action. Why haven't you perp walked everybody you could identify in that Margaritas Brawl? To set an example that if you act like this in public, you're going to go to jail. Even if it's just long enough to get bonded out. And you're going to know that you got to deal with the pain in the ass of going to jail, getting a bail bondsman, holler at Liberty Bail Bonds if you do, or you're going to go to court and just do all that and pay a fine. Will that teach everybody a lesson? No, because there's a bunch of knuckleheads out there with a criminal record a mile long and ain't none of it taught them a lesson. But it at least shows that you're going to do something. Because as of right now, I just see Chief Wade and this entire administration and JPD is just a bunch of do-nothings. But you talk good. You talk good. I mean, I think it's finally time somebody calls it out. It's like a propaganda arm for Chokwe Lumumba. Now, with that said, I hope that John Horn or Kim Wade or Zach Service, whoever the next mayor of Jackson is, I hope they keep Joseph Wade and take the golden handcuffs off and let us see if he can walk it like he talks it. Now, also, I know that fight was in Clinton, not Jackson. I'm just making the most recent fight was in Clinton, and they showed up and arrested people. Unlike JPD at Margaritas. And I know all of Jackson ain't under JPD's control anymore. There's a large part of it that's under control of Capitol Police. And coincidentally, the murder rate's down 50% in Jackson this year. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess if you look at the murder map and you look at the dots from last year and this year, there's lots of dots missing from the CCID versus the other areas that's not controlled by the Capitol Police. That's just a sneaking suspicion. Just a sneaking suspicion that the overwhelming majority of the 22 current murders in Jackson happened in South Jackson and West Jackson. Not Northeast Jackson, Fondren, Belhaven, and North Jackson. Just got a sneaking suspicion. Well, North Jackson would be back in JPD. And I bet you there have been some out there. But you just start setting examples. There's no reason that you hadn't looked at that video, identified some of those people, and perp walked them. Just to say we're not going to tolerate this in our city anymore. But you ain't going to do it. Let's take a break. Phone lines wide open, 601-879-0002. Question of the day, is Chief Wade all talk? Or is he just being held back by Chokwe? Let me know. I want to hear phone calls for this. 601-879-0002, the Mazda Jackson phone line. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, live on WYAB, streaming worldwide in stunning HD at Save JXN on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. Don't forget, you can always check out ClayEdwardsShow.com for all things Clay Edwards. All my links consolidated into one place. You want to find the merch shop. You want to find social media outlets. I need to update the website more, just the front page, but the last 5 episodes of the podcast, which is the show, stay current every day. It auto updates. It's on the front page there. All the links to all the different podcast platforms you can find the show on, etc., all available at ClayEdwardsShow.com. All right, I'm trying to pull up a story here. Well, let's see. I got somebody on hold on the Mazda Jackson phone line real quick. Let's go to them. Hey, you're on there.
Good morning, Clay. How are you?
Hey, Sylvia. How you doing?
I am well. Thank you for asking. I just wanted to answer your question with my thoughts about Chief Wade.
Yes.
Now, I think Chief Wade is being held back by Antar so that he is not able to do effectively, his job effectively, because this is an alleged story. I know of an officer who shared with me that a young man was pulled over for speeding and running a red light. When the officer went to the individual told the police officer that I know the mayor. The individual called the mayor, and there was not a ticket written. And as I said, allegedly, so I'm not saying that this has actually happened, but I did have an officer tell me that. But I also wanted you to know that I do think there's a stronghold around Chief Wade's neck. Now, Chief Myers told me that Chief Wade is a good man and a good officer, and I believe Chief Myers. So I do believe that when the new mayor is there, Chief Wade will be able to do his job effectively and properly because he will be backed up. I do not feel Antar backs Jackson PD, and I do not feel he backs Chief Wade. And that's just my opinion. So that's all I wanted to say. You said you wanted to know, so I thought I'd call and tell you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too. Yeah, I mean, look, I want to lean with Sylvia. I want to. But are you telling me, you're telling me that the mayor has got such a hold on Chief Wade that they can't arrest some folks over a brawl that went nuclear viral and made Jackson look even worse than it already does? They can't arrest that. They can't make an example out of these people. Antar's out the door. It don't matter who the next mayor is. It ain't Antar. He got such a hold, such a death grip on Chief Wade that we couldn't publicly perp walk these folks. Now, if it had been a cop that shot somebody, we'd have had their name, their address, their blood type, their family's name, their ancestral DNA. The mayor would have been up on a soapbox doing a speech talking about folks shouldn't have to worry about getting pulled over and ending in a life or death situation, because they resisted, of course, but neither here nor there. I fail to believe that this all falls on Antar. I just do. I think at some point, if you can't make arrest and make examples out of something this minute, this simple, that everybody's embarrassed by, what are you doing? Why are you even doing this? Stop doing your little press conferences at your desk and all that stuff. People want to see action. They ain't seeing action. I think stuff like this, broken window policing. You ain't doing it in Jackson, the parts the JPD are in control of. This would set an example. Clinton set an example. They left the spot with somebody in the back of a car. Now, what the Hinds County Justice Court system does to that person, police department ain't got nothing to do with. But they can at least ruin their day by taking them in for the night and slow moving their booking, slow moving their first call to a bail bondsman. I mean, man, every time I've been to jail in Raymond, it's taken me 12 hours to get out of there. I mean, your day is shot because they move at their own pace. All right, man. Speaking of the culture and the fatigue, have y'all seen this? Probably not if you watch mainstream news, because they're not going to talk about it. Ooh, boy, could you imagine if it was the other way around? And I don't like going to that. That's such low-hanging fruit, though, if it was the other way around. But, boy, could you imagine if the headline read, a registered nurse at Prairie State College in Chicago, Illinois, says she intentionally kills black people because they're black. Air traffic control couldn't handle all the black for a living pimps, preachers, and race-statutes that'd be skydiving into Prairie State College, trying to raise money behind this. I mean, Chokwe, you know that's his next career. You know that's Chokwe's next career. Rabble-rousing. Skydiving in and out of, well, his next career is doing whatever he's going to be doing in an orange jumpsuit. But after that, I mean, rabble-rousing, being an outside agitator with Ben Crump is his next move, his long-term move if he gets out of jail. But the headline actually reads, registered nurse at Prairie State College in Chicago, Illinois says she intentionally kills white people because they're white. Bryce Kamitra Lee. I'm sorry, Boyce Kamitra Lee is her name. She looks like a stripper, like a fat stripper. She refers to white people as specimens. I'm trying to find the actual post, but one of her replies says, wow, all of you clear specimens. If you don't know, if you haven't dealt with any racism lately, black people, instead of calling us white, they call us clear. They call white people clear. So, wow, all of you clear specimens are excited. Just know I randomly off your kind regularly in the hospital. Simple problem solved. Enjoy. Now, there is an update here under this Twitter post. It says, the nurse who bragged online about killing white people is being investigated. Chicago Heights Police Department has been involved, and hopefully she will be arrested soon. So here's an official release. This is an official release from the hospital. It says Prairie State College has been made aware of recent comments and claims posted on social media by an alumnus of this institution. In response, our campus police have initiated an investigation and have escalated the matter to the Chicago Heights Police Department for further review. While we sincerely hope that these allegations are unfounded, we want to assure our community that we take such matters very seriously. We appreciate those members of our community who have brought this issue to our attention. I can't even read this person's name that signed this. Antagane E. Kakalisius. Sheesh. Anyway, in light of this, she has started herself a GoFundMe. And it is titled, Empower a Black Woman Facing Losing Job. I'm sorry, Empower a Black Woman Facing Job Loss. Her goal is $50,000. And it reads, and this is where the fatigue sets in. Y'all, by the way, this is where the fatigue sets in. If you ever wonder why people are fatigued with this, this is a grand example of, I'm tired, boss. As a black woman, facing the risk of losing my job. Oh, you mean like all conservatives have for the last 8 years for having an opinion that skewed slightly right of center? You fear losing your job now? Welcome to 80% of society's last 8 years. She goes, I'm in a place where I have to humble myself and ask for help. This isn't easy, but I know I'm not alone. We go through so much, and we still rise. No, she says, we go through so much, and still we rise. As a people, I believe in our strength, our resilience, and in the power of standing together as POC, that's people of color. If you're able to support even a little, it means more than you know. Thank you for seeing me. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm going to find out how much money she's raised in the break. All right, so shifting gears here, it appears that GoFundMe has taken down old girl's GoFundMe. I can't find it when I searched. And it appears to have, best I could tell, not raised $1 before it got taken down. So that's a good thing. Let's shift gears, shall we? Ron DeSantis making news yesterday, saying things that I know my folks like to hear. So give me 1 second. Let me get this video queued up so the online audience can hear it too. Ron DeSantis coming out against property taxes. I think that's something we can all get behind. I mean, if you like paying property taxes, this is probably the wrong show for you. If you like paying taxes, this is the wrong show for you. I remember Mike Madison used to talk about this a lot, and I don't get to listen to his show as much as I used to. But Mike used to call out, he's like, man, I can't stand it when people brag about, I'm a good tax-paying citizen. Oh, well, good for you. Good for you. People call me a bootlicker because I support police. I think true bootlickers are people that are proud of paying their taxes. I pay my taxes. I'm a good tax-paying citizen. Okay. You probably were first in line to take that vaccine, too. I'm proudly vaxxed. I'm a proudly vaxxed tax-paying citizen. Anyway. DeSantis, next phone call I get, this is the Department of Revenue. DeSantis says, if I go to Best Buy and buy a TV, I pay sales tax. I don't keep paying tax on it year after year. I'm going to let you hear it. This is about a minute and a half. That's about 2.5 minutes, I mean.
Level of ongoing taxpayer.
No, you should own your property free and clear. I think to say that someone that's been in their house for 35 years just has to keep ponying up money, that is not. You don't own your home if that's the case. So yes, of course, I'd like to see people be able to owe free and clear. And it's interesting because it's like if I go to Best Buy and buy a flat screen TV and put it on the wall, I got to pay a sales tax on it, right? But I don't keep paying tax on it every year. I mean, it's just not, that's not how we do things. It's like, okay, if you're going to tax something, you tax it at the transaction and then let people actually enjoy their private property free and clear of the government. So that, I think, is the vision. That's the philosophical insight. And if you think about our founding fathers, when they were proposing the Constitution in one of the Federalist Papers, I think it was Hamilton, he's writing about, because, there was opposition to the Constitution. They were making a more powerful federal government than under the Articles of Confederation, and people worried about taxation. And they didn't have, obviously, a 16th Amendment, which eventually came on income tax, but basically you were not effectively allowed to do any direct taxation. It had to be indirect, meaning you couldn't just, you could theoretically just apply like a tax on land federally, but it'd have to be apportioned among the states, so practically it could never work. So basically, Hamilton's saying, look, the indirect taxes are the most effective, efficient way to raise revenue for the government because they basically allow the individual to choose how much tax they want to pay based on how much they're consuming. And there's a security, there's a protection against excessive tax in that regard, because if the government raises consumption tax too much, it kills the golden goose, because then it causes people to stop purchasing as much. But he said taxing property is one of the worst forms of taxation, because people don't have a choice in the matter, and you're just basically drilling these folks over and over again on tax. And so it's an issue that I think's pinched a lot of people, but philosophically it was not the way that that the federal government was constructed. Now I understand local, there was a history of it, and that's kind of been the norm. But man, I mean, you talk about family of four having the median home price that is purchased in Florida, that's a pretty hefty tax bill right there when you come in after buying a home. When you consider what the average income is throughout the United States of America, the math just doesn't add up. And I think that's why people want relief.
Amen. That's the Ron DeSantis that made me think he was going to be the next president, when he wasn't running against Donald Trump. Can we get that Ron DeSantis back? I mean, look, you ain't Ron DeSantis ain't beating J.D. Vance. But we still need Ron DeSantis. Do it when his term is up in Florida. We need DeSantis doing something. Because he's a smart dude. I still like the guy. He's done a lot of good stuff on our side. He's done some things that I shake my head at. Some globalist type stuff. But on a local level, he's done a very good job. On a statewide level, he's done a phenomenal job. And I can't fathom that some of that wouldn't transition to the federal side. I don't know, mind-boggling. But anyway, I tagged our 3 state leaders, Tate, Delbert, and Jason White. Tate and Delbert have very easily recognizable one-word names, but Madonna. You know who I'm talking about when I say Delbert. You know who I'm talking about when I say Tate. I say Jason, you're like, who? Who? And that's not a knock at Jason, by the way. It's just a very common name. So I say Jason White, the leader of the House. So I tagged them and said, but guys, I sure would love to see this energy out of y'all. Sure would love to see this energy out of y'all. I mean, yes, you got income tax abolished somewhat over the next 10 years. I mean, don't get me wrong. I look at that like I look at losing weight. You're not going to lose all you want today. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. You're still here for me. You're still here in a year from now, and you've done all the little things. You saved your pennies, so to say, and your pennies turn into dollars. Your pounds turn into 10 pounds. Your 10 pounds turn into 20 pounds, yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, over a year, boom, you're where you want to be. Maybe it's 2 years, depending on which size is. But same thing with this income tax. It'll come down just a little bit every year. And in that 10th year, as of right now, it abolishes. I tend to believe within 10 years, they're going to figure out a way to say, we screwed up. We screwed up. We got to have that money. We're going to have that money. And that ain't going to, and by the way, that's not going to take that's not going to take the brain fart here, the thing that they've stolen from us, the ballot initiative. And we're going to be able to do that with our ballot initiative, by the way. Anyway, it would be nice for property taxes to go away. They just do a flat tax. I mean, 10%, whatever. Figure this thing out, man. This is not hard. We are wasting so much money. And whether it's nationally, the stuff Doge is exposing, whether it's statewide, whether it's locally, there should be no public grants for anything. If you can't afford to pay for it, you don't get to have it. The government should not be getting invested into starting businesses for minorities or anybody else. We should not be giving foreigners tax-free crap when they get here. This ain't a knock on them. I love my foreigner friends, but you should be paying taxes on your businesses when you get here. You shouldn't be getting a break to come here and open a business. and everybody else not be entitled to that same break. Anyway, I go on and on and on. Let's take our last break of the day. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show, live here on WYAB. My voice is about made it to the end of the show. Hopefully it will be back full strength by tomorrow. Hey, quick correction. Sinus meds, yo. I said it was Thursday when I was reading the specials for Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. No country fried steak today. Just red beans and rice and sausage, as well as, what was the other one? Hamburger steak. And look, if you're near McBee's, swing by Wednesday. It's fried or grilled pork chop day at McBee's. Always a good time there on Lake Harbor Drive on the reservoir. Full menu available as well. I'll be back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Peace.